bitter criticism, just recording the what left from CGTN and what is. I remember I have a good article from CGTN, but right now I don't remember. Let's check it out. What will be? This is the very bottom of the file, and it's going to be hard to fill up 47 minutes because I'm just in the end. But maybe I will read news from yesterday too. But by now only Al Jazeera. I was remember the article I read from about Mexico new women president, and I'm not sure if Al Jazeera is a good newspaper for people, because they are always kind of saying negative stuff from people that looks, who knows what's going to happen in Mexico. I hope people should hope for the best in this moment, I guess, because Mexico is such a damaged country by neoliberalism, and well, what people should do now is be positive, about Mexico. And well, the article I just read, I was analyzing, remember what I just read, and it was not substantial, I guess. So Al Jazeera with lasers. Read Al Jazeera. I'm going to read a late one from CGTN from yesterday. No, I guess I'm not gonna read this. World Environment Day: Restoration and Reliance on China's Rural Communities. No, I guess I will. Look, opinion. Ni Kwaye Kuma, June 5th. Editor's note. Ni Kwaye Kuma, a special commentator on current affairs for CGTN, is the representative of the International Fund of Agricultural Development to China and head of the Regional South-South and Triangular Cooperation Center for Asia. The article reflects the author's opinion and not necessarily the views of CGTN. On the occasion of 2024 World Environment Day celebration, we take time to put the spotlight on the interconnected challenges of drought, land degradation, and desertification, and some of the most frequent and intense climate change impacts wreaking havoc on rural communities' livelihoods. The UN estimates that globally 24% of the land is degrading. Droughts have been increasing in frequency and severity by 29% since 2000, affecting 55 million people every year. From 2015 to 2019, at least 100 million hectares of healthy and productive land were lost each year. In China, climate change has taken a severe toll on its rich landscape. The loss of farmland is threatening China's smallholder farmers, who rely heavily on agriculture as a major source of income. Sadly, smallholder farmers receive only 0.8% of climate finance globally. They continue to face difficulties in accessing markets and climate-smart agricultural practices, as well as exacerbated economic vulnerability fueled by climate disasters. The International Fund for Agricultural Development (IFAD) continues to show its unwavering commitment to support rural communities and address the climate disparity in particular. The AFAD the IFAD has committed to achieve a 40% climate finance target across its portfolio in 2024 and will invest almost $670 million in climate change adaptation and mitigation. The government of China has also committed to build the resilience of vulnerable rural communities through its National Climate Change Adaptation Strategy 2035. China is accelerating actions to make its society and economy more resilient through research, capacity building, and investment. The AFAD's partnership and work with the government thus focused on the need to ensure smallholder farmers are not left behind amid climate-related challenges. The AFAD's representative in China, I am pleased together with my team to partner with the government to combine our expertise and efforts to implement innovative climate-smart agricultural practices in places like Ningxia, Yunnan, Shanxi, Sichuan, and Hunan, where droughts frequently hit and drive land degradation and desertification. Through learning from rural enterprises and smallholders farmers in 7 countries in Shanxi about the level of drought impact, the IFAD supported the local government with a combination of physical improvement, institutional strengthening, technical assistance, and policy advisory to promote sustainable, climate resilient, and safe agricultural food production. In Yunnan's Yongsheng and Huaping counties, the IFAD is supporting local farmers with sustainable agriculture machinery such as mist sprinklers and pest control devices. The AFID supported mist sprinklers can achieve large-scale spraying with just one person controlling them, and can have 30 to 40% on water and pesticide usage, and are therefore environmentally friendly. I'm just gonna leave here. We have a beautiful photo from a beautiful Chinese woman. A beautiful farmer, I guess. So that's it. Now Al Jazeera, why India's election results brings hope even in defeat. I just wrote this yesterday. Aporvanan teaches Hindi at the University of Delhi. He writes literary and cultural criticism. Published on June 5th, 2024. We have a photograph here from the election. Shiny people celebrating. Supporters of the opposition Indian National Congress Party dance in celebration in Mumbai on June 4, 2024 during the counting of votes in the national election. On Saturday, India's 6-week-long election ended with polls projecting a landslide for the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP). BJP leaders, inspired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, had repeatedly made clear that their goal was to get 400 seats in the 543-seat Lok Sabha, the lower chamber of the Indian Parliament. But the vote did not turn out so well for them. On Tuesday, official results show that BJP managed to win 240 seats, down 63 seats from the 2019 election, and causing the party to fall short of the majority it had retained over the past 10 years. With its allies, it will still be able to form the next government, but the Indian voters have clearly not given it the absolute mandate it wanted. Anyway, I'm gonna jump to the next one, also from Al Jazeera. I guess this woman is from Sweden. Opinions environment. If we are to lower food prices and support farmers, we need to restore land. Land restoration is the key to a well-functioning food system, healthier nature, and stable climate. She is Inger Andersen, Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Program, published on 5th June 2024, yesterday. So we have a severe drought, I don't know where, but the water is over. The water just gone. A man carries a plastic bucket across the cracked bed of a dried up pond in Vietnam's southern Binh Tre province on March 19, 2024. In recent years, people everywhere have endured soaring food prices, coupled with growing concerns for the well-being of those who produce food. There are multiple reasons for these higher food costs, from geopolitical tensions to the COVID-19 pandemic to the accelerating climate change. Farmers, retailers, and consumers are all feeling the heat. However, drought and land degradation, which are exacerbated by climate change, are the gravest threats to livestock and crops worldwide. This is one of the reasons why this year's World Environment Day is calling for land protection and restoration to address land degradation, drought, and desertification, and bring immediate social, economic, and environmental net gains. Land degradation and drought harm 3.2 billion people worldwide, including across East Africa, India, and the Amazon basin, the large swaths of the United States. In Europe, even though summer is not yet in full swing, some areas are already on drought alert. In the near future, one in 5 people in China will face more droughts. Australia's farmers are bracing for a 20-year-long mega drought. In the next 25 years, land degradation might reduce food productivity by 12% and raise food prices by almost a third. In the same period, the average family income will drop by 20% because of climate change. This is a global problem. Delaying action on climate and nature loss pushes us into a vicious cycle. Climate change further degrades soils, which makes farmers work harder and less profitable. They need more subsidized chemical and fertilizers to make more or less fertile lands, delivering less nutritious food and exacerbating the triple planetary crisis of climate change, nature and land loss, and pollution and waste. We can stop this vicious cycle by helping nature to regenerate. The results already in are phenomenal. Multiple initiatives to build back the degraded farmlands, forests, savannas, grasslands, peatlands, and cities are making vast areas arable again, and creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs. Look, this one, I don't know this word. I'm gonna Yeah, I'm screening all this, but I'm not remember to check it out later. Making vast areas arable again and creating hundreds of thousands of new jobs. This is happening across the Mediterranean, in Africa, South and East Asia, and in small island developing states like Vanuatu. Areas like the Central American corridor that previously depended on aid have become self-sufficient following restoration efforts. Expanding such actions is a good deal for nature, for people, and for economies. In fact, cost of action is 6 times lower than inaction, according to a report by the United Nations Environment Program. Half the world's gross domestic product (GDP) depends on nature, and every US dollar invested in restoration creates up to $30 in economic benefits. UN member states recognized the power of restoration land and other ecosystems in a unanimous vote at the 2019 UN General Assembly, which dedicated this decade to ecosystem restoration. Action is accelerating. Governments across the world have pledged to restore a total of 1 billion hectares, 2.47 billion hectares, acres, on land, an area larger than China. Last year, 6 countries pledged to restore 300,000 kilometers, about 186,400 miles of rivers, and 350 million hectares, 865 million acres of wetlands. Such efforts not only restore nature, bolster food security, and improve livelihoods, they advance climate goals by helping to store carbon, but they need to be backed by strong efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, including by ending the era of fossil fuels, as climate change is a major driver of land degradation, desertification, and drought. This year, Saudi Arabia is hosting the 2024 World Environment Day and the largest ever UN conference on land and drought, with a focus on land restoration, desertification, and drought resilience. This is a welcome effort for the world and the region. 3/4 of arable land in the Middle East is already affected by land degradation, with global warming affecting the region twice as fast as the global average. Its entire population will face water scarcity by 2050. World Environment Day, which we mark on June 5th every year, offers everyone an opportunity to act, organize, or join, and even wherever you are, incorporate nature goals into your business. If you are able to vote this year, consider the climate and nature policies that are on the ballot, and we must all act. The cost of living crisis and the issues facing farmers are real. The solution is also real: restoring land and other ecosystems for a functioning food system, for healthier nature, for higher incomes, and for stable climate. The views expressed in this article are the author's own and not necessarily reflect Al Jazeera's editorial stance. Well, this was Ingrid Anderson. Well, it was a nice article. She is executive director of the United Nations Environment Program. Ingrid Anderson is Under Secretary General of the United Nations, and I lost myself. And executive director of the United Nations Environment Program. She has more than 30 years of experience in international development, economics, and environmental sustainability, strategy, and operations. And we have now economy, Al Jazeera again. AI healthcare revolution already underway, NVIDIA says. Top executive says AI likely to affect healthcare more than any other area of life. It's interesting because NVIDIA is kind of the only real paramount sector or company in the United States. All the rest is from China. It's like NVIDIA is the only real valuable thing in the West, I guess. And there's the microchip lithography company in the Netherlands too, but this is by Erin Hale, published on June 5th, 2024. Taipei, China, generative artificial intelligence (AI) has already brought about a healthcare revolution, and is set to transform everything from pharmaceutical research to patient diagnostic and post-operative treatment, a top executive at chip giant NVIDIA has said. Kimberly Powell, vice president of healthcare at NVIDIA, said on Wednesday, while it is still early days, healthcare will probably be more affected by AI than any other area of life. Healthcare is probably the most impactful utility of generative AI that there will be. Powell said during NVIDIA's AI Summit held on the sidelines of the Computers Expo in Taipei. Powell said AI is already making its mark in the field of developing and testing new drugs, which can take up to 15 years and cost up to $2 billion under current time frames. Quote, we care about fast, and fast means in this industry that we are able to do more, and we know that drug discovery is essentially an infinite problem. We are looking at the chemical space and tend to the 6 power potential chemical compounds, Powell said. This is essentially an infinite compute, probably the only way to intelligently search that space is through generative data. Powell said AI could be used for modeling to help researchers understand how the body might interact with new chemical compounds, which could help reduce the prevailing 90% failure rate of most drugs in clinical trials. While with generative AI, we are going to be able to not only generate more ideas and predict with better accuracy, but we are also going to be able to model biology in new and exciting ways, so that when we put a new chemical entity into the clinic, we have a higher success rate, she said. NVIDIA, the world's third biggest company by stock value. Can you see? NVIDIA is important, but I guess there are more in China. I guess it's just the third. I guess this is the Netherlands one. Anyway, has made NVIDIA, the world's third biggest company by stock value, has made healthcare a major focus on its business as it seeks to capitalize on the myriad future applications of AI. The California-based startup has developed a suite of platforms, software, and medical devices to assist health practitioners in areas such as digital imaging, diagnostic scans, and robot-assisted surgery. In March, the company announced deals with Johnson & Johnson and GE Healthcare on the use of AI in surgery and medical imaging, respectively. Powell said similar technology that similar technology is already being used in self-driving cars to turn raw information into real-world decision-making. If you think about an ultrasound or even robotic surgery and self-driving cars, they are they are that different. There's a lot of sensors data coming in, so there's a real-time decision being made, she said. Generative AI will also be crucial in post-operative and follow-up medical treatment stages, such as when compiling a post-treatment report with patient data or reviewing a past surgery to assess its success, Powell said. There is 6 to 12 people in that room operating and making decisions in real time, and then, just like sports, a lot of athletes do this at the end of the game. Surgeons also go back and look at the surgery to understand that what they could have done better, she said. If you can imagine how generative AI is going to have really important utility in every stage of surgery. NVIDIA's graphics processing units have fueled a boom in AI investment, turning the once little-known startup into nearly $3 trillion company in a few short years. Generative AI exploded into the mainstream last year, with the release of OpenAI's groundbreaking app ChatGPT, generating a flurry of excitement and concern about the technology's potential applications. Sometimes I use ChatGPT, but I guess the ultimate use is human. The decision making is made from humans. You should think very well how to make questions, good questions. I mean, you cannot ask for ChatGPT to make your job, your homework, because he will not understand the details and so on. Another one from Al Jazeera. Well, Al Jazeera today or yesterday is being great. The only thing I don't like about Al Jazeera is sometimes it's too Western, and there's a lot of things from Gaza and Palestine and Israel. Something is happening today, I don't know what it is. Some celebration. Economy, inflation from Al Jazeera. Bank of Canada cuts rates. Bank of Canada cut rates for first time in 4 years as inflation eases. After keeping rates at a more than 2 decades high of 5%, the BOC said indicators for underlying inflation improve. Have a photograph with inflation easing. Monetary policy does not need to be a restrictive, said Bank of Canada Governor Tiff McLean. Published on June 5th, 2024. The Bank of Canada has trimmed its key policy rate by 25 basis points to 4.75% in a widely expected move that marked its first cut in 4 years, and said more easing was likely in inflation continued to ease. After keeping interest rates at a more than 2 decade high of 5% for almost a year, on Wednesday, the BOC said the indicators for underlying inflation looked increasingly positive. Quote, with further and more sustained evidence underlying inflation is easing, monetary policy no longer needs to be as restrictive, Governor Tiff McLean said in his remarks after the announcement. This news is not so interesting, but financial markets immediately priced in a 42% change of a cut to 4.5% next month. and a cut in September was fully priced in. A majority of economists pulled by Reuters had expected Wednesday's cut. The Canadian dollar buried its early gains and weakened by 0.4% to 1.37 to the United States dollar to 72.98 US cents after the decision. Well, I'm gonna skip this because it's too specific. And I'm not sure if I will have I guess I will have news enough for the 47 minutes. Another from Al Jazeera, economy, social media. Australia drops legal fight against X, former Twitter. I don't know who is saying that Twitter is X. I will not I never use Twitter, maybe sometime, but was not so great. I think Twitter was not so great. Australia drops legal fight against X over church stabbing videos. Elon Musk's social media platform welcomes decision as a victory for freedom of speech. Social media platform X had been embroiled in a legal battle with Australia's online watchdog. Published on June 5th, 2024. Australia's internet watchdog has ended a legal battle to force Elon Musk's X to remove graphic videos of a church stabbing in Sydney. The e-safety commissioner, Julie Inan, said on Wednesday that she had decided to drop the case to achieve the most positive outcome for the online safety of all Australians, especially children. Our sole goal and focus is using our removal notice was to prevent this extremely violent footage from going viral, potentially inciting further violence and inflicting more harm to the Australian community. I stand by my investigators and the decisions e-safety made, Heman said in a statement. Most Australians accept this kind of graphic material should not be on broadcast television, which begs an obvious question of why it should be allowed to be distributed freely and accessible online 24/7 to anyone, including children. Iman Grant said she welcomed the opportunity for a merits-based review of her takedown notice by the country's Administrative Appeals Tribunal. X, formerly known as Twitter, welcomed the announcement. This case has raised important questions on how legal powers can be used to threaten global censorship of speech, and we are heartened to see that freedom of speech has prevailed, the social media platform said. X refused an safety notice to take down footage on the non-fatal stabbing of a Syrian Orthodox bishop, Mar Mari Emanuel, during a live-stream sermon, arguing that blocking the content for users in Australia should be sufficient. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese criticized Musk's refusal to follow the notice, labeling him an arrogant billionaire who thinks he is above the law, but also above common decency. Australia's federal court in April temporarily ordered X to hide the content worldwide, which the platform refuses to do. But a judge last month denied an application to extend the order. Police have charged a 16-year-old boy with committing a terrorist attack in relation to the April 15 attack on Emmanuel, which authorities say was religiously motivated. This was the source of Al Jazeera and news agencies. Well, I'm not gonna read this one. India election, why Modi's narrow win sent the stock market tumbling, but it's interesting nevertheless. I guess I'm gonna read it. Indian shares suffered their biggest drop since 2020 after the Bharatiya Janata Party lost its parliamentary majority. India's stock market has boomed since Narendra Modi came to power in 2014. We have a photograph from India stock market. This is by John Power, published on 5 June 2024. India's stock market took its worst tumble in 4 years after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) lost his parliamentary majority. The shock outcome of Tuesday's election count means Modi will need to rely on smaller parties to form a governing majority in the 543 members Lok Sabha, the lower house of India's parliament, raising uncertainty about the India's leader's ability to pursue his pro-business agenda.